I thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I thought it made me more excited for Full Gear on paper, which has a lot of potential. So we'll break down the card here, starting with the buy-in. Serena Deeb defending the NWA World Women's Championship against newcomer, who I don't believe is signed yet, but former NWA World Women's Champion in her own right, Allison K, the former Sienna from Impact, and she was also in the Mae Young Classic in WWE about 2 years ago. So she's kind of been all over the place. I've never really been her biggest fan. I think she's good. I don't think she's great at all. I haven't seen many great matches from her, but listen, they need all the names they can get right now in the AEW Women's Division. So it feels like they've done a better job of presenting this championship than they have their own women's title.
No, I completely agree here. Don't know Allison K too much. I think Serena Deeb wins here. She just won that belt from Rosa. But, yeah, that's another complaint. I feel like people just haven't really – I mean, they just don't really complain about that stuff. But the fact that they've been promoting the NWA Women's Championship more than their own championship is extremely mind-boggling. I don't know what that really means. I mean, it's not like Sheeta's not around. She can't be there. She's there every week, but it seems like she's a complete afterthought. That division's a fucking joke. Serena Deeb's I think she'll win here, but I think the bigger problem is that they just have neglected their own women's division so badly that no one cares at this point.
Yeah, the division is desolate, and I think bringing in more women is going to help, and hopefully Kay is one of them. But the match should be good, though. I'm glad it's on the show. I just don't know. I don't know. It's a tough thing, because I would have been fine with this like on Dynamite. I think it's great. It's part of the pay-per-view. My issue isn't with this being in the buy-in so much as Orange Cassidy and John Silver, the next match we're going to get to, John Forrest Silver, that is on the main card, which it absolutely should not be. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad match. Orange Cassidy is very talented, as is John Silver, and I've actually really enjoyed John Silver on Being the Elite. I think he's one of the best parts of the show. The problem is that, as a character on Dynamite, the guy's a fucking loser. So, like, maybe this is their way of starting to build him up, but, like, there's a big disconnect, I feel like, with this company. I feel like they think everyone watches Being the Elite, but they don't. So it's a weird thing. I feel like Being the Elite is a completely separate show from what we see on Dynamite. Just because he's funny and he makes me laugh on Mondays on Being the Elite doesn't mean I'm going to take him seriously on Wednesdays on Dynamite. That's exactly the case here. Plus, the build for this match has been completely non-existent. They attempted to cost Orange Cassidy the TNT title. For what reason? I don't fucking know. And now he's facing him at the pay-per-view. I don't care.
No, I completely agree. I don't watch Being the Elite as I used to. I think since the AEW started, the show's just kind of been eh. But no, I guess after you beat Chris Jericho, you just go on to face Job Comedy Dark Order guys. So we'll see. I think Orange Cassidy obviously wins here. John Silver, I mean, doesn't do anything for me. I guess he's funny on Being the Elite. I just don't give a shit. So I guess I would say Orange Cassidy wins here, but it's a pretty steep fall from going against Jericho 3 times in a row to face this fucking loser.
Yeah, exactly. Now back to the women's division real quick. We are getting a rematch from the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. This time with the roles reversed. Hikaru Shida defending the the AEW World Women's Championship against the former champion Nyla Rose. Now you talk about non-existent build. Nyla Rose has been gone from the show for months. She's appeared maybe once or twice since she dropped the championship. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a personal thing or what, but like, she's not even on the show anymore. And then because she's been the number one contender for 24 weeks, why the fuck they waited 4 months, 5 or 6 months to give her a title shot, I have no idea. That's completely ridiculous. And then the match is going to be good. Their first match of the pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, was really good. This is just... I don't... They clearly have no idea what they're doing with this women's division. I think it'd be a step backward if they put the belt back on Nyla Rose anytime soon.
No, this women's division's a joke. I like Shida a lot, but they just haven't built anyone up. I honestly forgot that Nyla Rose is managed by Vicky Guerrero until I saw her last night. I honestly totally forgot, because they might have been on Dark, but I mean, I haven't seen them on TV in a while, so I totally forgot she was with Vicky Guerrero until I saw her last night. But they had a good match, like you said, at Double or Nothing, but they've had zero build. She's been number one contender for 6 months and hasn't got a title match. It's just fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Shida should win here. I guess I would probably do her and Britt Baker next, but
yep, definitely.
But yeah.
That probably should be the match for the show. I mean, I guess the build would have been a little rushed just because Britt Baker was just brought back, but no more rush than this rivalry has been. So maybe they're saving that for the next show. I don't know, but that's the match I'm really looking forward to because their first match on Dynamite earlier this year before Britt Baker got hurt was great. They really worked well together. It was probably one of the best women's matches they've ever had, and definitely Britt Baker's best match to date. So I'm looking forward to that rivalry being rekindled at some point. Now, I will say off the bat, there's a lot less matches on the show that I don't care about compared to All Out. I felt like we spent 3/4 of the All Out preview talking about matches that either made no sense or that we gave no fucks about at all. I will say, at least for me personally, maybe not for you, Mr. Marceau, that I think there's a lot of matches on this card that could steal the show that have the potential to be really, really good, that I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Including the Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara match, the Elite Deletion match, which is what they should have done it All Out to begin with, but we're finally getting it here. The Hardy Compound match, I believe, is what it's going to be. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but the match I've been looking forward to seeing practically since Hardy arrived in the company. Guevara's a good person for the spot. It should be very entertaining. My question is, Guevara's got to win on pay-per-view. The guy's never won on pay-per-view, I don't think. He always loses whenever it matters most. Does he win in the cinematic setting? What do you do here?
I like Sammy Guevara a lot. I think he came in as one of those young up-and-comers that he thought they would push. Then they put him with the Inner Circle, like, okay, they're going to give him a run, and then he's just been a fucking loser since. This whole Matt Hardy feud, it's been a nightmare since it started. I mean, there's been so many things going on. The All-Out match was a nightmare. Sammy chucking the chair at Matt Hardy and making him bleed out on TV was terrible. I mean, it's one of those things, like, I think Matt will win because it's like his match, but I think Sammy should win. I think he needs some fucking momentum. The guy's got like negative momentum. He hasn't won anything important since basically joining the Inner Circle. I couldn't tell you the last time he won a match that fucking mattered. So I would have Sammy win here, give him some momentum, beat a fucking 20-year veteran in his own match, give him some kind of run as a single. I think he could be a big breakout star for them, but I fear that Matt will win here.
I think he will, and it doesn't hurt Sammy too much just because it's in a cinematic setting. I have no issue with Sammy losing. I just think, I guess I do, but the problem is that he should be winning right now. I mean, I feel like if they just did this at the All Out show, it would have been better. What they should have done, dude, was have the match at All Out and then have Sammy win that, but not do the stipulation where if already loses, he's gone. That was so fucking pointless. It was a complete waste. They shouldn't have done it. They should have just had Guevara win a regular match there, or do the tables match at the pay-per-view. Remember they rushed that in like 5 minutes a couple of months ago. The whole feud's been a mess. It's been cursed since the get-go. And then Guevara, they were going to do the feud a couple of months ago, and then Guevara got himself suspended, or he left for a couple of months or a couple of weeks because of the whole Sasha Banks thing. So the feud has been cursed. Hopefully, this will be it. I think it will be. I think Hardy's going to win, but if Guevara wins, even better. Chris Jericho, MGF, if MGF wins this match, he is allowed to join the Inner Circle. Now, I'm going to stick with what I told you last week, and again, this is not a bold prediction. I've seen other people say this, that MJF will win. He should win. Both of these guys need wins right now. Both of these guys need wins. I think MJF has more to gain than Jericho does by winning this match. And I think MJF says, you know what, I'm all set. I don't need to join the Inner Circle. Maybe he becomes the new leader. I don't even think that's a good idea. I don't know. I think I'm more... MJF wins and then goes off and does his own thing. I know your question was, what was the point of that if they do that? I don't know. It just gives MJF a win, and it shows that he's superior to the group and that he doesn't need them, and maybe he has his own group brewing in the background. I don't know. But either way, I think this match ends in a victory for MJF.
Yeah, MJF should win here. It's not even the fact that the whole point is if he wins, he isn't allowed to join the group. It's just, okay, so then if he beats Jericho, then what do they do with him from there? If he doesn't join the group, is my kind of... Because it seems like Moxley and Omega seems like that's kind of the direction they're going in. Cody's still that champion. What's he going to face Darby Allin for the TNT Championship if he wins? I mean, that'd be kind of silly. So it's still, even if he wins, I still think he's in the same kind of pattern of just kind of being lost in the shuffle. So I think MJF will win. They need to fucking book this guy better. It's starting to get to a point. Not that I don't care. Just he's a big deal. Fucking make him feel like he is. It just seems like another random guy in the roster at this point.
Mm-hmm. Now we get to Cody, Darby Allin for the AEW TNT title. They've always had great chemistry. I think Darby Allin should be the one to ultimately take that belt from Cody. I just don't think it happens here. I think Cody's going to retain, as he should. Maybe shows more heel tendencies. Maybe he cheats to win. I don't know. Maybe Team Taz cost Darby the victory. Not sure what they're going to do here. But I think Cody holds on to the belt for a little longer. He just regained it like a month ago.
Yeah, I think Cody's going to win here as well. I think Darby should win. He's had great chemistry with Cody. He's never beaten him. But it seems like they still haven't tied up those loose Team Taz ties yet. So I would see them coming in and interfering and help Cody win. Or Cody could cheat to win here. But I think Cody's the one that wins here, unfortunately.
I could see a scenario where they do Cody and Darby coming out of this pay-per-view versus Team Taz. And then Team Taz wins, and it's because Cody maybe ditches Darby or turns on him outright. I'm not sure. But could you see a situation where like they extend the feud and that's where the turn kind of happens for Cody?
Yeah, I completely agree.
FTR Young Bucks with the AEW World Tag Team titles. Already mentioned earlier, the build has not been butchered, but it's been botched in the sense that it doesn't feel as big as it should. For a match that's been in the works now for a long time. The first few months I thought were well done when they brought in FTR. They didn't rush the match. I'm glad, but I don't know. I just feel like the last couple of weeks, FTR have played their roles great. It's more so the Young Bucks with the whole like, oh, we're angry, oh, we're assholes, oh, we're sympathetic now. It's been so inconsistent, it's hard to care. And the stipulation that if they lose here, they can never again go for the tag titles is incredibly dumb. Not only because you know they're not going to lose now, but also because we just saw it a year ago at Full Gear 2019. I just feel like this whole match is a mess.
Yeah, from what it was booked, like the anticipation of them coming to AEW to the match now, it's lost a ton of steam. The stipulation's so dumb. Like if we lose, we can't contend for the belts. It's the same thing Cody did last year. So what are they going to do? Like form a 6-man tag division and have a trios division? Like, please stop. I mean, I think FTR should win here. I don't know. I think FTR should win here. I mean, they just beat Omega and Page, who had the belts for like a year. You're gonna have them lose the next pay-per-view. I think that would be completely stupid. I'm gonna say FTR wins. I guess I'll say FTR wins. The whole booking of the Young Bucks has sucked though. Like they were baby faces, then they're heels, like they were whiny little bitchy heels. Now they're baby faces again, or supposed to be. Like I just could care less. I'm going with FTR here. I wouldn't be surprised if Young Bucks won, but I think FTR should win.
Yeah, I think Young Bucks are winning. I mean, if FTR wins, what do you think they do to get out of the stipulation that they can no longer go for the titles?
Like I said, they'll just like form their own stupid belts, like some trios division or some stupidness.
What, you don't want TNT tag team titles?
No, thank you, please.
Dark tag team titles?
No, please.
Bring over the maybe they bring over the NWA tag team titles.
You can't do another set of tag team titles, please. The ones they have now, like, just stick with what you have now. Now I need more tag team titles.
NWA tag team titles come and have them win those.
Stop, please. Yes,
We get to our final two matches here in the finals of the World Title Eliminator. Hangman Adam Page taking on Kenny Omega. Winner earns a future title shot for the AEW World Championship against whoever the champion is coming out of this show. Hangman Adam Page, Omega. I mean, it's got to be Omega. I mean, I think there's a scenario where you could have Page win. Omega turns on him afterward. They're clearly headed towards Omega as a heel, which is the right role for him at this point. And I've loved him throughout this tournament. Hangman too, but Hangman's got to lose. And it's got to be because Omega, maybe he beats him clean, and then he's like, oh, good job, sport, and then he turns on him anyway at some point. It's got to be Omega. I think Omega's the guy to take the belt off of Jon Moxley.
I want it to be Page, but I think I think it's Omega here, unfortunately. I just think that's the direction they're going in. I mean, I'm a big Hangman fan. I think the story itself, I feel like it's going to be Omega and Moxley. I don't want it to be that way. I think Hangman. Let's say Omega. I'm just not the biggest Omega fan, so I don't really want to see him with the title belt. So I guess Omega here, but I don't know. I'll go with Omega, unfortunately.
Well, what if Omega wins the belt and then Page is the one to take the belt from him? You don't want to see that?
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool and all. I just feel like it's just like, when's that going to happen?
Yeah, you don't want to wait another 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Hangman built up a few times to like contend for the belt, and then he's like, just no. Like this is like his second chance. Like he faced Jericho. This is like his another chance again, and then he's just gonna lose again. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with Omega, but I don't want him to win.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But yeah, Omega's probably going to win, so we're going to go with that. In the main event, we got Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, I Quit match, the AEW World Championship. I mean, again, the build has been good. I think the promo on Wednesday was great, but there's absolutely no, reason to think that Kingston's going to win here. I mean, it's obviously a Moxley victory, right?
Oh, Moxley win, LOL.
Yeah, it's got to be. But I think the match is going to be good. Do you think Eddie Kingston is destined for the main event scene beyond this feud, or is this it for him?
I think this is it for him. I like Eddie Kingston. I think he's good. I just don't think he's world championship material at this point. I think there's plenty of other guys they should put the belt on besides him. I think he's great and all, but I think he's better. He is good as a wrestler, but I do like him as a managerial. I think he's great promo. So I would definitely keep him around, but champion, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like Kingston. I just don't think he's world title material, at least at this point in his career. I think he's better in the managerial role. Completely agree with you there. But yeah, Quit match should be fun, and hopefully it's not, I liked last year's unsanctioned Lights Out match, but it was a little polarizing for some people. Hopefully this is a little better. Someone's going to bleed. It should be a good match, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, overall, I think the show is going to be great. Those top 4 or 5 matches really have potential. I really do, and the undercard isn't terrible either. Cassidy and Silver does nothing for me, but Jericho, MJF, Cody, Darby, FTR, Bucks, despite the bad build, Page and Omega and Moxley and Kingston should all be very, very good. So, super looking forward to the show.